You nervous, Derek?
Huh? Huh. Yeah, I guess I am.
Good. That's a healthy sign. Do you have the ring?
Yeah. The jeweler put it in one of my pockets. Oh, here it is. It's in there. Could you get it?
Mm-hmm. Why don't you let me hold it? I'll give it to Miles. It's the best man's job anyway.
That's a good idea. Tell me what you got.
We've got a few minutes left. Oh, where's your boutonniere?
Here it is, isn't it?
Oh.
Yeah. Could you?
Mm-hmm. Well, Nancy should be doing this. She's a lot better at it than I am. Oh, fumble fingers here.
Well, I appreciate it.
There. Now you look the picture.
Do I? Mike, did you tell Nancy what I told you last night?
Yes, I did. I told her about Jinx, as you suggested.
I thought that she should know what everybody else knows. What'd she say?
Derek, you won't find anyone more compassionate than Nancy or more understanding. She said she wasn't going to give it another thought.
I wish I didn't have to give it another thought.
A little late, aren't we? Oh,
hey.
Hello, groom.
How you doing?
How are you?
Miles, better hang on to this.
All right.
Say, any guys know what time it is?
It's a minute later than the last time you asked me, Derek.
Oh, I wouldn't say he's nervous, would you?
No, I'm not nervous. I'm just trying to keep everything in line. It's awful nice to have you guys here for support.
Oh, we're so glad to be here, to be able to share this day with you and Jinx.
It's an honor, my friend.
It means a lot to have your friends with you on the most happy day of my life.
Okay, now turn around. Oh, beautiful. Just so. Ta-da! Oh, no, the checklist. Something old is...
the pendant my grandmother gave me.
Yeah. Oh, that is so lovely, Jinx. Thank you. And something new?
The dress I'm wearing.
Good. Borrowed?
Nicole lent me a handkerchief.
Oh, good. And, the something blue is...
The garter that you gave me.
Well, that completes the picture.
Oh, and you're sure the picture is all right?
Absolutely perfect.
I mean, I don't look pale, do I? Because of nervousness?
No, not at all.
Oh, I'm sure that Derek is as cool as a spring breeze out there.
Oh, I don't know about that, because I think last time I looked out, Mike was holding him up.
Nancy, you know something? I am so excited. I feel like I could fly. It's the most wonderful feeling I've ever felt. I don't want to come back down to earth.
You are in love, my dear. I see all the signs.
Oh, yeah. And you know something else? I feel like a miracle has taken place.
Oh.
Well, you see, for the last 3 days, I felt just awful, but this morning I woke up and I felt absolutely marvelous.
And that's exactly how you look.
Oh, you know, don't you, Nancy? Well, Derek and I thought it was only right that you know. But I'll tell you something. I am going to fool everybody. I'm going to fool the complete medical science. Today I feel as if I'm going to live forever.
I'm sorry, what was that flight number again? Number 12. Departing Monticello Airport yes, I have that. And arriving Washington, D.C. at 2:35 this afternoon. Yes, not at all. Thank you. Goodbye.
Did you wish to see me, Mrs. Saxon?
Yes, Spencer, about a couple of things, if I may. First of all, I haven't had a chance to talk to you and get your view of the events of last night. The extraordinary visitor to this house, I mean.
Yes, he was extraordinary. It must have been a terrible shock for you. The man's resemblance to Mr. Whitney is remarkable.
And what about you, Spencer? You knew my nephew for some time. How did you feel when you saw that apparition standing in the doorway?
I was quite surprised.
Your cool detachment is admirable. I just don't understand it. How is it possible for an exact replica of Schuyler Whitney to be living in this world? It gave me such an eerie feeling, like a clone sitting there in front of me. What do you make of it all?
I really have no idea, Mrs. Saxon. Are you sure your nephew didn't have a twin?
No, he did not. My main worry is that this man will try to contact Raven. So soon after Schuyler's death, it would be a terrible shock for her. But then, I suppose I have no control over that, do I?
No, ma'am. Was there anything else, Mrs. Saxon?
Yes. I'm going on a trip to Washington, D.C.
Oh, I see.
And you may have heard that Mrs. Whitney is off on another trip. A cruise of some kind this time. Heaven knows when she'll be back. In any case, I just feel like a burden in the household.
If I may say so, Mrs. Saxon, you are not that at all. I fully intend to hire a cook and a maid. It's just that I've been somewhat distracted by other problems recently.
Well, don't bother with it now, Spencer. Wait until she returns, and then you can get her approval then.
Yes, of course.
As for me, I'm going to fulfill a wish I wanted to fulfill for a long time. I'm going on a trip to Washington to visit friends I haven't seen in ages.
That sounds very nice. Will you be leaving today, then?
Yes, I will. So if you'd be so kind as to bring my luggage from upstairs and drive me to the airport, we should leave within the hour.
Yes, ma'am. If you'll excuse me, then.
Well, I don't know what you're up to these days, my dear, but whatever it is, obviously you don't need me.
All right, let's see. Nail kit, 2 hairbrushes, cosmetics, hair curlers, hair dryer, Jungle Paradise perfume. In jail? Pantsuit, 3 skirts, 6 blouses, 4 pair of shoes. I think that should about do it.
What are you doing, Nora?
If you were here more often paying attention to your job, you'd know.
I'm sure I won't have to wait long for you to tell me.
For your information, I saw Mrs. Whitney last night.
Where?
And she's going away on another trip. I'm here packing her bag from this list she gave me.
I know she's going on another trip. Apparently Mrs. Saxon is going out of town as well.
Oh? Where?
Washington, D.C.
Oh, my. Big time.
Mrs. Saxon has always been in the big time, as you put it. She has many friends in Washington.
Grubby little bureaucrats, I'll bet.
You can't open your mouth without dripping venom, can you?
Now, that is an awful thing to say to me. You could be a little nicer.
Why should I?
You could attempt a little semblance of courtesy. I mean, with Mrs. Whitney and Mrs. Saxon both gone, we're going to be in this big house by ourselves. I see no need for unpleasantness.
I'll get it. Whitney residence?
Spencer, it's Libby.
Yes?
I have to see you. It's important.
Isn't it always? You know, there are things that I have to do here. I can't go running off every time you call.
Then I'll come over there. I must. Don't put me off.
How soon are you leaving, Nora?
As soon as I finish packing this bag.
All right, come over. Give it about an hour. I've got to go to the airport first. Bye.
Chad Everett and Jennifer Warren race against time to destroy the intruder within. Thursday at 8, 7 Central.
Anyone who thinks jazz is cool ought to see my group when we're really hot.
Give your body the best.
Safeguard, the most deodorant soap lather you can get to clean odor away with the most deodorant soap protection you can get to help keep odor away.
Hey, that's important, because nobody wants to end their evening on a sour note.
Give your body the best with Safeguard.
I think there are 3 nevers to being a winning coach. Never let the press pick your starting quarterback. Never take a last-place team lightly. And really, no matter what the score, never let them see you sweat.
That's what new Dry Idea aerosol is all about. Maximum control. It keeps you drier than the leading aerosol.
Everyone feels pressure. Winners don't let it show.
Dry Idea. Never let them see you sweat.
You know, soft cleansers are a great idea, except for one thing.
They don't clean that well.
Introducing one that does. Now there's a new soft cleanser that cleans so well it lets the shine come through. New Mr. Clean Soft Cleanser with an active formula that actually cuts through grease and grime on contact. So new Mr. Clean cleans better.
He safely cleans with lots of muscle and lets the shine come through.
You're quite a man.
The better cleaning soft cleanser. New from Mr. Clean.
I'm Shane Conrad. And I'm Chris Conrad. And you know who this is?
Meet Robert Conrad, father.
My kids, I think, have turned out to be good people.
Actor.
Mostly now the critics have accepted me as someone who's endured.
And full of surprises.
I was deputy sheriff here for 2 years, and I ran a saloon.
Robert Conrad on Cover Story. Saturday at 7:30 p.m., 6:30 Central on USA.
Here we are, Kelly. We're a few minutes late.
Hey, how you doing, yeah? Jody, how are you?
Reluctant. That's why we're late. If you knew what I had to go through to get this lady here, she fought like a little demon. But why?
Because I really don't think this is a good idea.
Will you tell her, please, why it is a good idea? I've run out of breath.
Okay, reason number one. You like children, right?
Yes, of course I like children, but that doesn't mean I can be the hostess of a children's program. I'm not qualified.
Yeah, but how many people are there that have had that kind of experience?
A school teacher. Why didn't you hire a school teacher, somebody like that?
I tried to find a school teacher, but I couldn't, and I could never find one as pretty as you. That's reason number two. Reason number three, you already have a track record as a performer.
In rehearsals, though, just in rehearsals.
But you loved them, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, then. Oh, come on, give it a chance, honey. Kelly will be honest with you. Now, look, we all know each other well enough to be honest, okay? And no matter what happens, good or bad, we'll accept it. Not just asking you to try. Just try, that's all.
Well...
Come on. Sick 'em, Tiger.
All right, nothing to lose, huh?
Right.
What do I do?
Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to go over there on the set with the children and talk to them. Now, I've left you a book, and you can read from the book, or you can make up something. You know, be creative. All I need is 2 good minutes of tape on you, okay? That's all there is to it.
Aren't you going to wish me good luck?
Good luck.
Thanks, you're a pal.
I know.
Would you hold this?
No. All right, I
Hold
did
it
that.
anyway.
There you go. Come on, Gavin, let's watch.
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
Fine.
Good. My name is Jody, and, well, let's see, I'd like to find out all of your names. What's your name?
Ilana.
Ilana. And yours?
Burnett.
Burnett.
Jason.
Jason.
Natane.
Natane. And yours?
Leora.
Okay, so it's Ilana, Burnett, Jason, Natani, and Leora. Good, got it. You guys like stories?
Yeah.
What kind of stories?
Monsters.
Monsters? All right, I guess it takes a good monster to make a good story. Let's see what we have here. Aha. Okay. Once upon a time. It's funny, those stories always start out with once upon a time. I wonder why.
Because, the story lady didn't have any other way to make them.
That's a good answer. Okay. Once upon a time, there was this family of monsters. A mommy monster and a daddy monster and 2 children monsters. And they had this one little problem. You see, they were very, very ugly. And nobody would talk to them. And no one would play with the little children monsters. Right? And that made it pretty sad.
Yeah, I don't know what was wrong with me, Gavin. Jody's perfect for this thing. And you know why?
Because she doesn't talk down to the kids or at them. Talks to them. That's why she gets the response.
Exactly. And she's exactly what we've been looking for.
How soft? Jump. So soft. Jump. Ooh, very soft. Jump, 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 jump. Bounce. But so soft, clothes you can't wait to jump into. Jump. Feels so good. Jump it. You are the one, so warm and soft around me. Jump, 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 jump. Bounce. But so soft, clothes you can't wait to jump into. Jump.
So, what's the mystery to your great-looking hair? Simple. I don't use a regular shampoo.
I give. What is it?
It's Head and Shoulders. It's everything I want for my hair, and more.
Mind if I try it?
Catch.
Its dandruff protection works on your scalp, not your hair. Gentle conditioners go there.
This is great hair. A great way to forget about dandruff.
Today's Head and Shoulders, dandruff care that's good for your hair.
Mankind has always been pressed for time, but never more so than in American business in the 1980s. For instance, some people are so obsessed with saving time that they don't read the Wall Street Journal, which is rather odd, considering how little time it can take. In just a few minutes, the Journal's front page gives you summaries of the day's most important business developments. Of course, if you have a little more time, you can dig a little deeper and discover how efficiently organized the Journal really is. Now, granted, reading the Journal doesn't exactly save you time. It just helps you spend it more wisely.
Call 800-527-9800 for this special introductory offer. 13 weeks for just $29.50 with a money-back guarantee. 13 weeks, $29.50. Phone 800-527-9800 now for the Wall Street Journal.
Now, are you sure I look all right?
Beautiful. You're absolutely glowing.
I really do look well, don't I?
Perfectly.
Nobody would have guessed that there's anything wrong with me.
Well, Jinx, maybe there isn't.
I hope so. Nancy, I hope that God gives me a chance to be a good wife to Derek, to make him happy. I know it's a very special challenge to cram so much happiness into so short a time.
Jinx, I think I'd prefer to go along with your miracle.
Oh.
Okay.
It's time. Everything's ready. Oh, Jinx, you look absolutely beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Nicole.
Don't worry about it. That's the same thing happened to me on my wedding day. It's just nerves.
Okay.
Ready? Oh.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered together to join this man and this woman in lawful matrimony, which is an honorable estate and one which should be entered into only upon mature consideration and thought, and then reverently, having in mind the holy nature of the bond to be assumed. If there be any among you who know of any reason why Derek Mallory and Jinx Avery should not be so joined, let him speak now, or else hereafter hold his peace. Derek Mallory, do you take this woman to be your lawful wedded wife, to live together in the ordinances and holy estate of matrimony? Will you love her, comfort her, honor, and keep her in sickness and in health, forsaking all others, and keep only unto her so long as you both shall live?
I will.
Jinx Avery, do you take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband, to live together in the ordinances and holy estate of matrimony? Will you love him, and comfort him, and honor and keep him in sickness and in health, forsaking all others, keep only unto him so long as you both shall live?
I will.
Join hands and repeat after me, please. I, Derek, take thee, Jinx, to be my wedded wife.
I, Derek, take thee, Jinx, to be my wedded wife.
To have and to hold from this day forward.
Have and to hold from this day forward.
For better or for worse, for richer or poorer.
For better or for worse, for richer or for poorer.
In sickness and in health.
In sickness and in health.
To love and to cherish till death do us part.
To love and to cherish until death do us part.
And I pledge you my troth.
And I pledge you my troth.
I, Jinx, take thee, Derek, to be my wedded husband.
I, Jinx, take thee, Derek, to be my wedded husband.
To have and to hold from this day forward.
To have and to hold from this day forward.
For better or for worse, for richer or poorer.
For better or for worse, for richer and for poorer.
In sickness and in health.
In sickness and in health.
To love and to cherish till death do us part.
To love and to cherish till death do us part.
And I pledge you my troth.
And I pledge you my troth.
May I have the ring, please? Place the ring on her finger and repeat after me. With this ring I thee wed, and with all my worldly goods I thee endow.
With this ring I thee wed, and with all my worldly goods I thee endow.
Join hands, please. Inasmuch as Derek and Jinx have now joined together in lawful wedlock, and have witnessed the same before this company, and thereto have given and pledged their troth each to the other, and have declared the same by giving and receiving of a ring, I, in accordance with the authority vested in me by the laws of this state, pronounce that they are man and wife. You may kiss the bride.
What is this? I thought you were supposed to be delivering clothes to Mrs. Whitney.
I was on my way out when Miss Webster arrived. Mrs. Whitney isn't in very much of a hurry anyway, but I'd better see to that suitcase, if you'll excuse me.
Gladly. So how did you survive the interrogation? I know she was questioning you. What about?
Just ordinary questions. Trying to find out how we happen to know each other. I told her we were old friends from abroad. Which is true enough, isn't it?
Now, you've got to be careful with that woman, Libby. She is a sponge for gossip. So, what's so urgent?
Sky and I went to see Valerie Bryson.
You went together?
And it was pure disaster. At his request, she asked him questions about their relationship in Switzerland. His memory failed on almost every count, but the man who used to claim to be Sky Whitney, his memory was perfect on those events, according to her.
Oh, great! That's just great!
I'm beginning to believe it's impossible. We're never going to be able to prove that Sky's the man he claims to be. And that means that we'll never get the Whitney fortune, which is rightfully ours.
His, Libby. His, damn it. You've got the loyalty of a snake.
Oh, what difference does it make? It's hopeless. And you know it.
Now, Jody, I really have a deadline to meet on this real soon, so I have to have an answer one way or the other, yes or no?
Oh, I accept. I accept. There.
It's about time.
You said that again. You know, I've been so excited about auditioning you as the new hostess for this children's show. I've really forgotten to convey my condolences about your mother, Jody. I'm really sorry.
Thanks. It's just something that I'd rather forget, you know. That and some other things.
What other things?
Well, the night Jody's mother died, Jody ran into this strange man coming out of her mother's apartment.
It was just a momentary thing. He looked at me and I looked at him and then he was gone, but it sounds less frightening than it was, and it stayed with me. I dream about this man. I see his face and I wonder what he looks like behind those dark glasses.
I don't use fabric softener anymore. Bold 3 has softener built in. But I use liquids. I get cleaning and softener in one. Why don't they bottle it?
We bottled it. New Liquid Bold 3, a stain-fighting detergent and full-strength fabric softener specially formulated to work together.
So clean. Clean that gravy stain. So soft. Feels terrific. Control static. Who needs separate softener?
Bold 3 detergent plus fabric softener. So good, we bottled it.
Welcome to the Woodlands, where you find a delightful surprise around every corner. Imagine capturing these charming creatures in fine porcelain.
The Franklin Mint presents Woodland Surprises, each work of art handcrafted and hand-painted. And you can separate every animal from its natural home. Call 1-800-238-4000 to receive 12 Woodland Surprises for only $19.50 each, a remarkable price for porcelain of this quality. Every detail is intricately sculpted, then decorated by hand. Use your credit card to save COD charges. You'll get a new Woodland Surprise every month for a year, and each imported piece carries the Mint's return assurance. Subscribe now, and we'll send you this display stand at no extra charge.
Discover the enchanting world of the Franklin Mint's Woodland Surprises.
Call 1-800-238-4000. Subscribe today.
Hi, I'm Becky Dixon. The 5th McDonald's Championship takes the sports spotlight Saturday, June 7th and Sunday, June 8th, right here on the USA Network. Alice Miller leads the top field of lady golfers after the LPGA's richest purse, $450,000. That's the McDonald's Championship Saturday, June 7th at 3:30 p.m. and Sunday, June 8th at 4 on USA Network.
The McDonald's Championships, Saturday and Sunday on USA.
Okay, enough talk about mysterious strangers in dark glasses. I'd rather talk about my new job.
Mm-hmm. And, you haven't asked me about, what your salary would be.
Think you can afford me? That was a joke. When do you want to talk about it?
Well, I think we could talk about it some night next week over dinner.
Fine, I'm free every night.
Oh, no, honey, we're not. We have that Endicott party next week.
No, wait a minute. Wait, you mean you know the Dwight Endicott, the culture king, personally?
Never met him in my life.
Ah, come on, how'd you get invited to one of his parties if you've never met him in your life?
Well, they just invited Jody and Miles and Nicole and me, but don't ask me why.
Beautiful, aren't they, Daddy?
Very beautiful. You know, Grace, you have a real knack for flower arranging, just like your mother had.
She was much better than I am.
What are you wearing for the party, darling?
I haven't decided.
That's reminiscent of your mother, too.
Now, I'd love to put this vase over there, but weighs a ton.
Love to be waited on, don't you?
Just like your mother.
Well, Joe will do it for you. Joe, you give Grace a hand with the flowers there, will you?
About everything, Sky. You make it all sound so hopeless.
You mean it's not?
As long as the truth is on our side.
And all the evidence on theirs.
You're a great help.
I'm facing the facts, Libby. I'll leave the fantasizing to you.
And the facts are these. There are only 3 people who could prove that Sky Whitney was an imposter. Aunt Geraldine, Valerie Bryson, and the imposter himself.
He's dead, unfortunately.
That's right, he's dead. And Valerie and Aunt Geraldine believe that if there was an imposter, I'm it.
You were in too much of a hurry. You should have waited till we had more definite proof.
Well, be that as it may. I didn't wait until we had more proof. I imagine I thought that since they should believe me, they would.
If only you'd use some discretion.
Well, look, let's not get into that again, shall we? He just did a better job of proving who he was than I did.
We have to give him some credit. He did do a thorough job of research. Where, how, we don't know. We can only speculate.
He proved himself, and I ended up making a fool out of myself in front of Aunt Geraldine.
Don't be so hard on yourself. You were badly injured in that plane crash. It's only temporary, I'm sure, but you can't expect to be in perfect health just yet.
The doctors in Switzerland told us you might have a little trouble remembering things.
Yes, well, his memory was perfect. You two should feel some satisfaction. You've proven yourself right. Now, I don't have any proof, and I don't know where I can find it.
However, you did leave one name off that list.
honey, I'm sorry. I just thought it might help you forget your troubles, you know?
It doesn't. It is just driving me to the brink of insanity.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't want that, would we? Especially with all your other problems.
You're a big help, honey.
Thanks.
Hey, lady, you got a visitor. Right this way, honey.
Hello, Mrs. Whitney.
Oh, Nora, thank heavens. I am so anxious to change into something more comfortable.
I think I found everything on your list.
Great.
Oh. Hey, you got yourself some beautiful things there. Boy, I wish I was in your shoes. Sure are lucky.
Lucky?
Well, you would be lucky if you weren't facing a murder rap.
That color's all right. You had 3 of the same style, so I had to make a choice.
Hey, it's great. You brought all the right things.
Well, I'm glad, Mrs. Whitney.
Okay, so now tell me what is happening at home. Tell me everything. I am starved for information.
Well,
the first thing I want to know about is Geraldine. She must be worried to death about me.
Well, not really, no.
Well, didn't you tell her that I was here and what happened?
Oh, yes.
Well, when is she coming to see me then?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Whitney, but Mrs. Saxon has gone on a trip to Washington to see some old friends, I think.
She left town when I am in the worst predicament of my life?
I'm afraid so.
I don't believe it. I mean, she was always so concerned about me. She's like my own mother. I thought for sure that she would come here with you and visit me.
I'm afraid she's already gone, Mrs. Whitney.
Well, what'd she say?
Well, she was very upset at first. You should have seen the way she carried on. I thought she was going to have an attack or something. But then she just got plain angry. Said she was washing her hands of you entirely, that you were simply hopeless, I think is the word she used.
That doesn't sound like Geraldine.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Whitney. I shouldn't even be telling you this at all. You're upset enough without worrying about what Mrs. Saxon is doing.
Just goes to show you. You have to get into trouble to find out who your friends really are.
Oh, you can say that again, honey.
I don't understand it. She always used to stand by me.
Try not to worry about it, Mrs. Whitney. I will stand by you. You can count on that.
Oh, Nora. I'm really going to need your help a lot.
Well, listen, I have to go now. They said I couldn't stay very long. Sergeant!
Right.
Oh, just a minute. I have just a couple more things that I want you to bring.
Oh, sure, Mrs. Whitney. I'll get right to it.
I don't believe it. A file.
Calvin, this is not the calmest I've ever seen you.
Yeah, well, I guess the griddle's getting a little hot. I must be reacting to the heat, babe.
Now, what does that mean? Does it have something to do with this special reason for dinner tonight?
Yeah. Look, Dee Dee, I wrote a first draft of a letter to Star. I'm gonna ask her for a divorce.
That's going to be a little rough on her, don't you think, getting a Dear Star letter from so far away?
Yeah, well, I can't get any more time off from work to go all the way to New York. I just thought that might make it easier on everybody.
Are you sure, Calvin?
I am sure that in a letter, I can express my feelings probably better than I ever could in person.
Is this it?
Yeah. Mind if I read a little of it to you?
I'm not sure I have a right to hear it, Calvin.
Please, Dee Dee. It would help me.
Okay.
Well, I'll skip the preliminaries and get to the point. Star, what happened doesn't mean the love between us wasn't real. Maybe sometimes love has a season like everything else. I know with us we had a spring, and it was beautiful. Our inability to change our own desires and goals made it impossible to last through summer. I'm not blaming you, Star, and I hope you don't blame me. I know you'll agree that there can't be much happiness in a marriage that's ceased to grow, and as difficult as it may be, it's best to end it now while we both still remember this springtime. I mean, I know I have to work on it a little, but you don't think it's too corny or anything, do you?
No. I think it's a beautiful letter. But it's still going to be painful for her to read it just the same.
Yeah, well, it's not going to be any less painful to put a stamp on it and mail it either.
Hi there, good folks.
Hi, Sid.
Yeah, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing okay. Can't say that much for the rest of the gang that hangs out here, though.
Now, what does that mean?
Well, I don't know. Everybody's pulling a disappearing act lately. How come? Is it because Mitzi's taken a couple of days off? I mean, I know she's a big draw, but I haven't seen Jim or Hector or Cliff or Smiley or... Well, I don't know. Maybe they don't like the food around here anymore, huh?
Well, no, I don't really think it's that, Sid. Smiley and the others, they're involved in one of those theater projects. But it'll be over and they'll all be back in full force any time now, I'm sure.
Well, I sure hope so. Because there's something I've been wanting to talk to Smiley about.
What's that?
Well, you see, I got this old school chum, Maud Feeney. She lives in Flint, Michigan now, and, you know, we've kept in touch over the years, Christmas cards, stuff like that, and, well, I wrote her a letter recently, and I told her about this guy I met, Smiley Wilson, and, she wrote me back, and... Oh, God, I don't know why I'm bothering you with this.
Hey, no, come on. Something's on your mind. Just get it off your chest.
Well, I'm sure that Maud is wrong about this, but, this is what she says. There was a guy by the name of Smiley Wilson arrested a while back for a bank robbery here in Flint. I remember him because his picture in the paper sure wasn't smiling, and Ed and me, yeah, that's her husband, Ed and me laughed about the name being Smiley. You sure ought to stay clear of that kind of guy, Sid, and of course maybe it's not the same guy. Well, what do you think, Calvin?
It's very unlikely, Sid, that it's the same Smiley.
Sure, Wilson is a very common name, and Smiley is not too uncommon.
Yeah, well... That's what I figured, too.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I gotta get back and tend to business here. I'll get you guys before you go out, huh?
Sure. Yeah, right. You know, maybe I really ought to, check with the PD in Flint. I mean, it's not likely, but, well, hopefully, that Smiley and ours aren't one and the same. Hey, Smiley, I got it finished. Oh, yeah, looks real good.
Look, I'm sorry, I could only run off 2 copies without the boss catching on. Is that okay? Great. Okay, so long.
How come you didn't cry at the wedding today?
I was just very clever about hiding it.
Well, there was more than the usual reason for tears at this wedding.
But it was beautiful, though, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Honey, I don't think I've ever had such mixed feelings about a marriage before.
It's impossible to feel any other way under the circumstances.
You know, just knowing what they'll be facing these next few weeks, maybe months. Good to see how happy they were about getting married. For however long it lasts.
In other words, it was just like any other wedding.
You know what I mean.
I have a feeling you're going to be doing your crying now.
No, 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 no. No such thing.
You'd have every right. It was heartbreaking.
No, it was wonderful, Mike. You're really very courageous people.
And without any sense of martyrdom either. Just plain old-fashioned fortitude, as if they were saying, We're going to grab the happiness of this day and let the future take care of itself.
Yeah, well, nobody knows what the future's going to bring. It's always risky. If you have luck, the rewards are wonderful. We've been lucky, haven't we?
I know I have.
How I love to see the younger generation having a good time. Sorry about my Tommy.
Nancy, would you give this kid a quarter and send him off to the movies?
Make that 4 1/4 and you got a deal, and that's how much the movies cost these days.
Oh, right, okay. Tell us about your day.
No, yours first. How was the wedding?
Oh, beautiful.
Obviously, you had a good day at the studio. I can tell by that wide grin.
Yeah, I did. It was a very wonderful, productive day.
Really? What happened?
Well, you remember the problem I was having trying to find a hostess for the new children's television program I'm producing? Well, the problem has been solved.
Oh, that is good news.
I must have auditioned every young lady within a 100-mile radius. If she could breathe, I auditioned.
And who was your final choice?
Somebody sitting right in her own backyard. Jody Travis.
Jody, she's capable?
Did she audition too?
Mm-hmm. Within the first 2 minutes, I knew that she had the job. You should have seen her. She was perfect. She waltzed right into the middle of a group of kids and commanded their full attention.
Well, good for her.
Of course, it wasn't quite that easy. I mean, Gavin had to drag her down to the studio, but with a little bit of friendly persuasion on my part, she sailed right through it.
Oh, that's wonderful, and I'm sure you're pleased. That means you can start production right away.
Exactly. All I got to do is get the approval of the program director, but I'm sure he's going to be just as enthusiastic about Jody as I am.
Mm-hmm. And Geraldine, what does Geraldine say?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to catch her just as she was leaving town, and she gave me permission to hire Jody on the spot without a contract.
Geraldine was leaving town? I didn't know she was going on a trip.
Where'd she go?
Washington, D.C.
Good for her. She always has a marvelous time with her old political cronies. There's nothing she likes more than arguing politics and raking over Gordon Whitney's enemies, the few who are left.
Yeah, I also think she was a little lonely without Raven around.
Well, where's she gone?
On an extended cruise of some sort. I guess Geraldine just didn't want to sit home alone in the Whitney mansion.
Well, well, Raven has certainly turned into a world traveler, hasn't she?
Okay, campers, what we need here is a black jack and a red queen. And if you do not get your black jack on the red queen, you improvise. They say if you cheat at solitaire, you'll cheat at everything. You think that's true?
All I know is one thing. If I ever get out of here, I am never going to cheat at anything ever again.
Honey, it's easy to make them kind of promises. But when the time comes, you'll cheat. Don't worry.
Do something for me, will you?
Yeah, sure.
Shut up.
Just passing the time, honey.
All right, lady.
Yeah, what do you want, Meatball?
I don't want you. Didn't you hear me say lady? You're no lady. You, Mrs. Whitney, your mouthpiece is here. Right this way, sir.
Thank heavens.
Mrs. Whitney, I'm Bennett Matthews.
Hello, how do you do, Mr. Matthews? Is it true that you are the best criminal lawyer in the world?
I never said that.
Well, maybe you didn't say it, but Mike Carr did.
There are three. I don't think we're going to accomplish anything here tonight. I have to be getting back to the Whitney house.
My house, damn it, bought with my money.
What's your hurry, Spencer? You said those 2 women who pay you to be their servant had gone away on extended visits. You said yourself they'd probably be away for days, even weeks.
Even though the ladies are gone, I do have certain responsibilities.
You do have an overdeveloped sense of loyalty, don't you?
I wouldn't laugh at it if I were you, Libby. You might find a sense of loyalty will come in handy one day. Skylar, try not to worry. If there's a solution to this problem, we'll find it.
Yes, well, I imagine I'm going to have to be satisfied with that. Thank you, Spencer.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Libby.
Good night. I don't think I'll ever fully understand Spencer Varney.
I thought the 2 of you were close.
I suppose we started out that way about 100 years ago. But then I learned that Spencer has iced water in his veins. I don't think it possible for him to feel anything for anyone.
Well, you never know about some people, Libby. He may very well have felt strongly at one point and ended up getting hurt. Maybe he doesn't want to get hurt again. And that's why his composure is his best defense.
Perhaps.
Yes, perhaps. I'm going to go to bed. Don't wake me.
It's obvious, Miss Whitney, that either you or Lance Halliday is not telling the truth.
He lied.
Of course. Well, that will make the case much more clear-cut, won't it?
Meaning what?
Meaning that if this case does go to trial, the prosecution must prove that you are lying, and I must prove that he is lying.
Do you think it's going to go to trial?
I don't know. The first step, of course, is the grand jury procedure, and that's where the prosecution, Mike Carr at this point, will have to present the evidence to the grand jury, and then they will have to decide whether the evidence warrants a trial or not.
Forget all this. Just tell me honestly. What do you think is going to happen?
It's my considered opinion, Mrs. Whitney, that you have nothing to worry about. It's your word against his, and they do not have sufficient evidence to hand down an indictment.
Mike Carr was right. Oh, you're the best.
This looks good. Well, when's dinner?
Oh, it won't be long.
You got time for a cocktail?
I think so.
Okay, I'm going to go upstairs and change and be right back.
Okay. Well, Geraldine and Raven are both gone. It's odd to think that the Whitney mansion is empty again.
Well, it's not completely empty. They're the servants, remember?
That's what happens when the cat's away, is it? Well, Nora, I'll just have to follow you and see what you do with your stolen goods.